priceless.
Republican Vice President nominee JD Vance walked out to Merle Haggard's song America First at the Republican National Convention. While it is something he can do today representing the GOP, just a little more than 10 years ago, this move would have ended his political career. Why? Well, to understand that we need to understand Merle Haggard's politics, which was complicated to say the least. Before we go ahead, please hit the subscribe button and bell icon for your daily dose of country. Merle wasn't a Republican or Democrat, a conservative or liberal. In his own words, I can't be called one or the other, because if I was one of them, I'd want to be the other one. Both of them disappoint me. America is being sold right beneath our feet. He also never voted, as his right to vote was taken away from him being an ex-con. More than political parties and their ideologies, Merle would choose his side based on the person representing the party. While on one hand, he appreciated Ronald Reagan for being and acting as the American man the world needed to see, he would also openly criticize George Bush's decisions on Iraq in the song America First, and also go on to perform a new song he'd written endorsing Hillary Clinton for president, called Hillary, but sometimes known as Let's Put a Woman in Charge. The song America First isn't one of Merle's more popular works, and hardly moved the needle on the charts when it was released in 2005. But when JD Vance chose it as his walkout song at the Republican National Convention, he put a song that was critical of Republican policies from before, right on the center stage at one of the biggest political events in the country. America First was written in part as an anti-Bush, anti-Iraq war protest song. However, it still is an appropriate pick for Vance, as the Republican Party is in many ways opposed to the Bush-era Republican views. Haggard's criticism of the Bush administration wasn't just about the war. He was also deeply concerned about the state of America's infrastructure. He talked about how our highways and bridges were falling apart and how the country was in serious need of rebuilding. He was referring to I-40 bridge collapse of 2004 that left 14 people dead. This was the other side of America First, not just staying out of foreign wars, but also focusing on fixing what's broken at home. And Vance also has openly spoken up on the choice of song being deliberate. I just love the opening lyrics. Why don't we liberate these United States? They're the ones who need it the most. And really, it's saying, why don't we stop trying to bring freedom and democracy to every far-flung corner of the globe using American troops to do it? Why don't we bring freedom and democracy to our own country first and focus on rebuilding our own country before we focus on the problems elsewhere in the world? We have veterans sleeping under bridges and on park benches in our country, and yet we are bringing in 20 million illegal aliens and giving them luxury hotel rooms in New York City. It's a complete insult to everybody who has actually served or loves this country. The whole movement is about getting American leadership to put our citizens first. I think that song captures that theme better than anything I've ever heard. It's impossible to say what Merle would have thought of his song being used in a Republican campaign, but his own words are not too far from what Vance had to say. With more focus on infrastructure and jobs. In an interview, he said, "Look, I love this country more than anybody you ever talked to in your life. But it's not good right now. We need to fix our highways, our railroads, and start using some of our own oil and take the cap off the reserves. We've got farmers down there that are going broke and can't grow tobacco anymore because they've shut the tobacco industry down. Why don't they grow corn and hemp and put this country back to work?" Vance and his choice of song make for a contradictory and, yes, ironic moment in the intersection of politics and culture. What are your views on this? Let us know in comments. And please do hit the like and subscribe buttons before you go.